Alright, what's up everybody? It's CSNazo and welcome to my review of the June 20th, 2017 edition of Smackdown Live. I decided to skip Raw because watching Raw is just a chore. It felt like it took forever, whereas this one, I know it's an hour shorter, but it just flew by comparison. So, yeah, let's just get to the review. The show opens up with the wrestlers of the women's division being pissed about what happened at Money in the Bank, and rightfully so. It was the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and it was won by a man, so can't really blame them for being pissed. And then, we have this bit where they're all just like standing around complaining about what happened outside of Daniel Bryan's office, who has just returned to the WWE. And they all come out. No. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, like, okay, I'm going to make a decision later tonight about this. Then Carmella comes out to the ring along with James Ellsworth. Carmella comes out talking about how now that she is Mrs. Money in the Bank, that the era of Carmella has begun. And she keeps talking about how much, she doesn't care that she ruined a historic moment for the sake of winning the match. She said she doesn't care. And see, my argument is that just Carmella saying that, or is that Vince saying I don't care? Is that Vince saying I don't care that I ruined a historic moment? I want a headline, goddammit. Yeah. And like I said, I don't think anyone would have really minded this finish if it weren't for the fact that this was the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match. That's the problem. So, anyway, we go to commercial, and when we come back, the New Day come out to the ring. They talk about how they were cheated out of the Smackdown Tag Team Championships at Money in the Bank, and how they're getting a lot more serious now. Then the Usos come out to the ring to begin a match between Big E and Jimmy Uso. Again, I'm taking the commentator's word for it when I say it's Jimmy Uso because I still can't tell the two of them apart. I don't actually have a lot of notes for this one. I have the finish, and that's about it. But this, don't take that to mean this was a boring match or it was a bad match. This was a good match. It's just, I don't know. If you were following my Twitter, then you know I just asked Steven Larson for help as to, like, how to actually come up with stuff to say for these matches. But this was a good match. It was okay. And I think the Usos just trying to run away from the New Day thing is going to become a thing, because that's basically how this match ends. It ends with Jimmy and Jay Uso just grabbing their belts and being like, no, we're out of here. We're going to lose by count. We're out of here. And then Kofi Kingston does a trust fall off the stairs onto Jey Uso, just missing Jimmy. And then Xavier Woods threatens Jimmy to get back in the ring with Francesca. And he starts backing up back towards the ring when Big E grabs him, throws him back in the ring, and I think Jimmy does like a roll-up or something like that. He gets the upper hand for like a split second. Well, not a split second, for like for a little bit, you understand. After being thrown back in the ring. But then Big E gets control again. Big ending. 1, 2, 3. Big E wins the match. After that match, we have an interview with Naomi where she's being asked what her opinion was on the first ever women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And she said that she is not at all happy about it. Now, during this interview, Lana actually walks up to Naomi, and she says that she gives an official challenge to Naomi for another shot at the women's championship. And Naomi says, you know what? You don't deserve the championship, but because I am a fighting champion, I will give you one more shot next week on SmackDown. So yeah, next week it's going to be Lana versus Naomi again for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Then we have a recap of the Jinder Mahal versus Randy Orton feud so far. And then we have a sit-down interview with between Tom Phillips and Randy Orton. And where Randy Orton basically says, this has just gotten personal. You know, like, I am now officially pissed the hell off. Maybe I'll go over to India and give a few of Jinder's relatives a couple RKOs. Yeah. And, yeah, that. I wish I had more to say on this. Steve Larson, please help. Okay, Then we go to Dolph Ziggler versus Shinsuke Nakamura. And I have this note here that just says match interrupted by commercial. And I have another bit here that just reads, no amazing high spots, just great wrestling. And that's what this is. There were no high spots. There was nothing really extravagant about this match. It was just a good wrestling match. It was just a good, straight wrestling match. Nothing spectacular, mind you, but it was a good wrestling match between two very talented athletes, and that's why I'm kind of sad that Dolph Ziggler, that this is as far as Dolph Ziggler's career is probably going to go. Because Dolph Ziggler is he's usually either a mid-carder or he's in that weird area between mid-carder and main eventer. And right now that's where Dolph Ziggler is. He's in that weird spot. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to go any farther because the WWE just doesn't like him. Anyway, Nakamura hits the Kinshasa on Ziggler, and he wins the match. I actually do recommend you check out this match if you have the time, like maybe if like the full match is on YouTube or something like that, or maybe if you have it recorded. This is something you don't want to skip through. I think it's on Hulu. This is definitely something that you should not skip through, essentially. Okay. Oh yeah, something I forgot to mention. All throughout the night, the women wrestlers who lost the Money in the Bank ladder match have been going up to Bryan and trying to see like what his decision is. Like do you think you can help me out here? And Daniel Bryan's just been like, hey, like we're coming up with a decision really, really soon. Just hang in there, and you'll find out what we're going to be doing. Just be a little patient. And Becky's talk with Bryan was the best. I'm sorry, but I had so much sympathy for Becky. Like, she seemed genuinely sad. I'm not gonna lie, part of me wanted to hug her. I'm just like, oh, everything's gonna be alright. And that just goes to show how sad and lonely I am. But moving on. Owens comes down to the ring, and he declares that the reason he didn't win the match was because the other 5 men in that match conspired against him to make sure he didn't win the match. However, he said none of that matters because at the end of the day, I am still your United States champion. I am still the face of America. And he decides that today he's going to do his version of the U.S. Open Challenge. And he says, anyone from Dayton, Ohio can come out here and challenge for my United States Championship. And then AJ Styles comes out, and he's like, oh, you made the wrong decision, Kevin Owens. I'm coming out here. I am going to freaking, I accept your open challenge for the U.S. title. And Owens is like, no. You see, this challenge only applies to people who live in Dayton, Ohio. And then Chad Gable, apparently this is American Alpha's official return. Chad Gable comes out, and Owens is like, hey, what are you doing out here? You don't live in Dayton either. Like, what are you doing? And Chad Gable says, well, here's the funny thing. I just moved to Dayton this morning. And he gives an address. And AJ Styles, I mean, he gives an address to prove it. And AJ Styles like, yeah, I know the place. I know the place. He does live in Dayton. Come on, ring the bell. And yeah, so now we have Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable for the U.S. Championship. I mean, considering Chad Gable has kind of just been a tag team guy for quite a while now, I think it's safe to say he's not going to win this match, and he didn't, but whatever. And either apparently his move to Dayton, Ohio is either legit or people update Wikipedia very fast, because the second they cut to commercial, like like right after the match started, they cut to commercial, and during the commercial, I actually went onto Wikipedia to look up Chad Gable's place of residence, because it seems like he's just lying and pulling stuff out of his ass. And no, it says his residence is Dayton, Ohio. So, like I said, either that move is legit or people update Wikipedia very quickly nowadays. I have, I'm sorry, guys. Like for one thing, this was a very short match, and plus, I guess I was too focused on Twitter to actually pay a lot of attention to this match. I'm sure it was a good match. I mean, from the bits and pieces that I did catch of the match, it was not a bad match. It was a good match. But I'm sorry, I was just so focused on Twitter at the time that I just wasn't paying attention. Although I did notice one bit where I think Kevin Owens like kicks out of the I think it's Kevin Owens like kicking out of a pinfall attempt by Chad Gable, and like Chad just kind of lands on the ref, and the ref just kind of treats it like nothing happened, which I'm calling bullshit on that. Wrestling referees are the most fragile people on the face of the fucking planet. That should have fucking killed him. Like, we're going all science fiction here in professional wrestling all of a sudden. Anyway, I guess we cut to commercial, and then we come out, and we cut to commercial, and then when Daniel Bryan, sorry about that. Okay, so Owens wins the match. We cut to commercial, and then when we come back, Daniel Bryan comes out to the ring, and he says that he's going to be addressing the situation regarding the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and he invites all the women who participated in that match to come out to the ring. And he says that even though there's nothing in the rules saying that someone cannot aid you in climbing that ladder, and basically he said that there's no rules stating that what they did was against the rules. However, there's also never been a situation in which someone has physically climbed a ladder and handed the briefcase to somebody else. So he said that they are in uncharted territory. And then apparently James Ellsworth didn't like the fact that this decision could go either way, because at first Daniel Bryan was on the side of Carmella, but then he's on the side of all the other women, saying that both sides have very valid points. And then James Ellsworth says, "Oh, I know what happened. You're a new dad now, and that's made you so freaking soft." And Daniel Bryan gets fucking pissed. Like, Jesus. Holy shit, Bryan. Holy fucking shit. He got pissed. He got fucking pissed. But this leads to pretty much everyone else getting pissed. And at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan made the decision. Well, I'm not sure if it was... Whatever. The decision was made by someone in management to strip Carmella of the women's Money in the Bank briefcase. And next week, they're going to be doing another one on Smackdown. Now, I may not have been paying full attention here, but here I got that Becky, Tamina, Charlotte, and Natalya are going to be in the match. However, I have seen signs that Carmella is set to be in the match too. So it's basically just redoing the match next week on SmackDown. And I have heard that this is supposed to be like WWE panicking, like what they were doing. Like I'm not sure if this was like like maybe the original plan was for like this to actually be what they do with Carmella, but they got so much bad press for it. They didn't get. I mean, see, here's the thing: WWE likes to do a lot of stupid shit for the sake of a headline. See, I mean, but see, here's the thing: when it comes to headlines in professional wrestling, unless you're already a wrestling fan, that headline is not going to stick in your head for more than a few hours. So by the time you're by the time they forget about it, you wouldn't have seen any kind of returns. Nobody outside of the wrestling fan base is going to be interested in a headline regarding professional wrestling long enough for you to see any benefit from it. So that's why I really don't understand the point of WWE doing shit for the sake of a headline. It just doesn't make any sense. And I don't know, maybe they saw that in like the ratings or something. I don't know. But anyway, after Daniel Bryan walks away with the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase, there is a big brawl in the ring. Carmella just gets so fucking pissed. She starts just beating. She just starts attacking everyone. And it basically ends with Carmella, Becky, and Charlotte in the ring. And Charlotte does natural selection on Carmella, followed up by Becky doing the her arm breaker submission hold on Carmella until Carmella taps out. Then they both leave the ring, and that's it. All right, and now we're here at the main event of the night: Jinder Mahal versus Luke Harper. And I have to say, when I mean, like at first it seemed like they were going the cowardly heel route with Jinder, but I don't know. There was something weird about this. I saw this look in Jinder's eyes. He looked really freaking confident, and this was backed up on commentary by JBL saying that sometimes the championship can do the championship can do one of two things to you. It can either consume you and make you worse of a wrestler, or it can make you rise to the occasion and make you a better wrestler. And I think that's what WWE is trying to suggest is going on here. Yes, Jinder Mahal won the championship via fluke or via luck, but now that he is the champion, the championship is actually making him better. And when he eventually loses the championship, he's going to stay that way. And I actually really like that. I mean, like I said before, I'm like all for, you know, pushing a wrestler who hasn't been given a fair shot yet. You know, like push him, see what you can do with him. And I don't know. I don't think I've seen enough of Jinder in the main event to really have a proper judgment yet. But so far, I'm liking it. Oh yeah. Before this match started, though, there was a commercial break, and then like 2 minutes into the match, there's another commercial break. So we were on network TV for like 5 minutes before going back to commercial. Anyway, decent match, nothing spectacular, not the best match of the night, but decent match. Don't really have any problems with it. During the match, Corbin comes out to the ring, and he doesn't really act like he's going to cash in. He just kind of walks out to the ring with a briefcase, walks around the ring, and then as he's walking back up, he's going, "I'm in your head. I'm in your head." So, yeah, there's that. And Luke Harper initially starts to take advantage of this, but then Jinder, he gets some help from the Singh brothers. I mean, to be fair, Luke Harper did have interference from Baron Corbin there in that little distraction. But I don't know. There was some. I don't know. But anyway, Jinder at the end with some help from the Singh brothers, gets the upper hand again, hits his finisher on Luke Harper, and 1, 2, 3, Jinder Mahal wins. And see, I don't know, but for whatever reason, as I was watching Jinder wrestle this match, it seems like Jinder was the face here. Like, I mean, I know for like storytelling, actually, Luke Harper is a face right now. So yeah, I mean, I know for like storytelling purposes, Luke Harper is the face in this match, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it just seemed like Jinder was the more genuine face here. I have no idea why. I mean, Luke Harper wasn't doing anything heelish or anything. In fact, if anyone was doing anything heelish, it was Jinder. But for whatever reason, Jinder just wound up looking like the face in this match. Which is why I wrote this note here that reads, "Am I seeing signs of a face turn?" Anyway, after the match, Orton comes out to the ring. He attacks Jinder and the Singh brothers, but the Singh brothers eventually, right before Orton is able to finish Jinder off, the Singh brothers get in the ring. They distract Orton. Orton attacks them again, and Jinder runs away through the crowd. So it's very clear that Jinder isn't face yet, but maybe some smaller, subtler signs at a face turn. I don't know. I actually kind of hope so. But yeah, that was Smackdown Live, June 20th, 2017. That was a good show. Like, I mean, it could have been better. I mean, it feels like a lot of it is just like them going, yeah, the ending to that. I mean, is them just saying a little too late that like the ending to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match was bullshit, and that they're backpedaling on it now. Like we're sorry, we're sorry, we're sorry. Like we thought it was a good idea, but now we realize it's fucking terrible, which it was. And now they're. I mean, this episode felt like it was half Damage Control and half a standard episode of SmackDown, which, from what I understand, a standard episode of SmackDown is actually pretty good, but I don't know. It just feels like if they didn't have to do so much Damage Control, that this would have been a better show. Anyway, that's all I had to say on the matter. I will see you next week for the next episode of for my next review of SmackDown Live. And yeah, I'll see you guys then. Take care.